On February 15, 2024, a 5-judge Constitution bench, unanimous, struck down the Electoral Bond Scheme. Not modified it, not referred it back, struck it down completely, and the reasoning contains an argument about democratic accountability that goes well beyond campaign finance. Electoral bonds were promissory instruments introduced in 2018 that allowed anyone to purchase bearer bonds from SBI and donate them to a registered political party. The party redeems the bond through its bank account. The donor's identity is not disclosed to the public or to the receiving party, but it is known to the State Bank of India, and therefore accessible to the government of the day. That last part is the structural problem. The anonymity was not symmetric. Donors were hidden from voters, from opposition parties, from the public. But the ruling dispensation, through its access to state banking records, could always know who had donated to whom. The court called this selective anonymity. It creates an information asymmetry between the government and everyone else. The court's first ground for strikedown was freedom of speech under Article 19(1)(a). The right to free expression, the court held, includes the right to receive information, and voters have a particular version of this right. They need to know the sources of political funding in order to make informed electoral choices. The proportionality test applied here was brisk. The government argued the scheme served a legitimate aim, curbing black money in political funding. The court accepted that this is a legitimate aim, but it found the scheme was not the least restrictive means. Electoral trusts, which disclose donor identities, were already available and served the same purpose. The government chose a more restrictive instrument when a less restrictive one existed. That's a proportionality failure. The court also noted the scheme didn't actually prevent black money. It just channeled white money anonymously. Those are different problems, and the scheme addressed neither. The second ground was Article 14, equal protection. The Electoral Bond Scheme had removed the earlier cap on corporate political donations, which was 7.5% of average net profit over 3 years. Under the scheme, a company could donate unlimited amounts. The court found this arbitrary. It creates a class of donors, large corporations, who can deploy unlimited resources in political funding, while ordinary citizens cannot. That disproportion has no rational basis. The scheme effectively elevated corporate political influence without a constitutionally defensible reason. The data the court pointed to: 94% of all electoral bonds purchased were in the 1 crore denomination. This was not a small donor anonymity mechanism. It was large capital, potentially including regulated entities like banks and companies with pending government approvals, moving without disclosure. The court didn't just strike down the scheme, it issued immediate directions. SBI must stop issuing bonds and submit all bond details, including purchaser identities and recipient parties, to the Election Commission by March 6, 2024. The ECI was directed to publish the data by March 13th. Justice Sanjeev Khanna added a concurrence. He went further on the quid pro quo concern, noting that the scheme created structural conditions for funded policy influence that is invisible to voters. This judgment is really about one idea. Democracy requires that voters know who is trying to buy political outcomes. Anonymity in political funding isn't donor privacy. It's institutional opacity, and the Constitution doesn't protect that.